feeling for everyone. And I don't want to take too much time, but I do want to at least maybe have everyone say a few words. I'll set a timer for a minute and pass to Eduardo to get us started.
Wow, you caught me thinking. So this, my camera. So this sprint, I feel this sprint, I felt good because Comunitas sort of came to action points. So I felt that the working group actually become a working group, and there were more people than just Chuy and me. So we started creating this network of processes and people who are helping us. So that feels really good, and I feel it will keep evolving. So I feel this sprint was really productive for that process. And I will pass it on to Livy.
Did you pass it to me?
Yes.
Sprint, I felt a little bit overwhelmed, maybe. I was just looking at the board now, and I closed like half of my issues, and then that feels a little scary that I didn't close the other half. So yeah, I think I just need to get better on time management, that like personally, and I'm just not going to calls and focusing more on doing the work. For me, it has been a little bit difficult to integrate feedback of the advice process. I don't know if anyone has tips on that. It just feels very like how to read through all of the things that each comment said and integrate that in a way that addresses things, but that it doesn't change like the whole. Sometimes it feels easier to write something from scratch than to integrate everything. But other than that, it feels like a lot of collaboration is happening, and that's my time. I'll pass to Griff.
I'm sorry, I missed the intro question.
How are you feeling about this sprint? We've closed another sprint. We're 18 sprints down. How did this one feel for you? Just 1 minute going around.
Feels really good. I mean, the params are making big progress. I'm really excited to see what the demo is today. So that's like, my main thing. And then Common Swarm is going a little slower than I'd like, but it also has more space to play. Definitely similar to what Livia said, like I would call it advice scope creep. Because it's like, okay, thanks for all the advice, but in the end, hey, we have to do something, So the great thing about advice process is that it still gives agency to the organizer to say no, and just like say, okay, well, I got this advice, this advice, this advice, and then there's also this advice that says we have to get it done. So here's what I'm going to include, and here's why I'm saying no, and here's the final decision. Here's why I'm saying no to these things, and even and then they can be addressed and understood. And I think being able to handle the scope creep is like the biggest issue, and it's a big issue for me too in Common Swarm. I'll pass it to Mitch. Did Mitch go?
No, I didn't. Thanks, Griff. Yeah, the sprint was good for me. I had a lot of progress working on the reward system and seeing the progress in the Commons dashboard, and lots of great discussion in SoftGov. So from my perspective, I think we really made some progress. Yeah, I'll pass it to Nate if you haven't gone yet.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good sprint. I think that a lot of the advice process still is kind of clunky, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to go through the advice process and not have the resolution that you want, and still not sure how to make a decision. But I do think that I think it'll get better. I just that was my only criticism for me personally this week, this sprint. So otherwise, I think everybody's doing a pretty good job. So I'll pass it to Metaverde.
Metaverde, did you know it was passed to you?
She mentioned before that she was not going to intervene. She was more than to listen.
Oh yeah, you got it. Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't here. I'm just catching up. Thank you.
Cool. Perfect. Welcome. Maybe we pass to Zep.
Oh, thanks, Tam. Yeah, this sprint. Yeah, I think it's going. Lots of things is happening, and what I'm concerned is like a lot of things are happening, but are not related to the commons upgrade. So maybe I mean it's good because people like this is doing stuff like it's going to be valuable after the commons upgrade. But I don't know if maybe we should focus more on support the tasks that are needed for the commons upgrade. But yeah, that's my feeling. I'll pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Zepti. We're focused on getting that terms and conditions done for the bonding curve. Pretty be an issue with that. I feel slightly the same feelings I was having when we were approaching the launch. Some things are getting done, some others we're starting to go a little crazy about them, thinking we may miss, we may not do it, but I can feel that everything is moving on the right direction. That's MS is missing.
Yeah. Hi and welcome, MS. You've joined the Sprint Retrospective. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey there. Sorry for being muted. I was playing the mute unmute toggle game. So my name's Mike. Actually, I met a couple of people in Wyoming last week and was talking about joining Trusted Seed, and then from there I've been kind of just hopping into different meetings going on. Background wise, I'm actually a certified Scrum Master and a couple other things, so I was really interested in how you approach the retrospective and just wanted to kind of sit in and listen if that's cool.
Yeah, that's more than cool. Very happy to have you here. Awesome. Cool, welcome. Okay, that's all of us. I guess it's a great time for us to jump into the Miro board. Oh, that's not the Miro board. Hold on 1 minute. What am I sharing? There you go. Okay. So, well, everyone here knows how we do this, so I probably won't. We're not doing the same format that we did last week. That was fun. I think I'll bring it back again when we do another focus on the commons upgrade, but I think we'll do the regular one again. So I'll set a timer for 5 minutes, and we could start with my favorite part. What went well this sprint? Hey, Chiri, welcome. Hey, Juan. Oh, yeah.
Hi, everyone. Sorry to be late.
Yeah, sorry to be late. Thanks, everyone.
Cool.
I cannot get in. I don't know if I was kicked out and I need to sign in again or.
Let me see if I can figure out what's going on. I'll try sending you.
I'm clicking on the link on the agenda. Is that the correct one?
Here?
Yeah, right there. But I get a login screen instead of the direct insight board.
It does look correct. I mean, I clicked on it and it opened.
Let me check if just clicking on Google, it lets me in.
Oopsie. Sure. All right. And I guess for the rest of everyone else, if you want to get started, and I'll try to help Santi get in at the same time. What went well? So what went well for you personally? What went well in the working group that you're in? What went well in our community? Things that we want to celebrate and share with other stewards and with all of our community. Hey, Sanji, I'm sending you some messages on Telegram.
I got in, Tom. You were talking, you couldn't finally.
Okay, cool.
Should we be putting on music for these? I can throw a chip in.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, go
Thank
for
you.
it.
All right, cool. I guess I have a mute, but I'd like to hear a little music. Cool. All right. So I feel like I could write for another few minutes, but maybe we'll keep moving. So I'll ask Mitch, do you want to read out all the things we did well?
Yeah, and just really
Things
quick, Michael, if you don't know, you can turn, and anyone else, you can turn the music down by right-clicking the guy.
Got it.
All right. Starting from the top. Growth in the amount of contributors. Great engagement on our snapshot votes. Trams is making big progress. 76 voters and nearly 50% token turnout. That is unheard of. Gravitons for every DAO. Huge attendance. Increased collaboration between members. Graviton training, attendance, and presentations. Durgadas guidance is great for comms. Communitas is growing. Developers are joining and building the TEC. Graviton training and book club going on. Sam is helping us a lot. Discussions on 75% governance are activating the collective intelligence. Graviton training is like 50 people. What the fuck? Yeah. Sounds like market fit. Funding proposal for working group being worked. 76 voters in snapshot. The comms did an exceptional job on promoting the vote. New people joining every day. So much action on the forum, I can't keep up. We are swarming before the commons is even up and ready. Graviton training is on fire. New users, lots of community engagement. Eduardo, people are watching us and it feels like we are leaders in the space. Lots of participation in the forum. Ostrom's second book club ended in Australia time zone. Engagement in the TEC is incredible. How did we do this? Praise to everyone. Great work on reward system. Critical feedback is slowly being integrated. Reward system is moving forward with great momentum. The first Hatch DAO vote is live. Griff, quit adding more. Starting the NVC book club. 75% governance participation. TEC lounges. The CU is almost here. Can't wait. Nate taking on Medium as a channel of communication. First ever Hatch vote. Mitch is a steward. Preparation for change. So many projects are spinning up. Vi taking on onboarding. So much is happening, and we are keeping our cool. Happy the level stress isn't affecting relationships. I think we have a good level of inclusion. Steward Council is helping with WG proposals a lot. Using new voting mechanisms, Snapshot and HatchDAO, becoming more familiar with how they work. Steward budget draft equals feeling so relieved I made so much progress. Fruitful discussions on roadmap alignment. Stewards Council kicked off. Sem is a hero getting XDAO to work for a Tau vote. Okay.
All right. I feel like we could go around one by one and share how we feel, but I want us to really move on to how we could do better and actions to improve. So if everyone could just unmute for a minute and just be like, woo! I feel like that's enough.
Yeah.
Woo!
We killed it. We killed it.
Oh yeah.
All right. I know we sometimes run out of time, so I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about some things. So we're going to jump right now to 5 minutes of filling out the board for, what do you feel like you could have done better this sprint? Personally, in your working group, in our community, what things should we later brainstorm for actions to improve to take into our next sprint? So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to mute and turn the music up. And we have 3 seconds left. All right, cool. Livia, would you mind reading us things we can do better?
Yes. Read more posts, better acknowledgement of contributors. Votes could be clearer before pushing out lots of extra context to dig through in the forum. Onboarding, coordinating with other communities to learn from their processes. Votes should have more encouraged discussions. It takes a lot of time and effort to integrate advice process feedback, coordinate around new user onboarding tasks, making sure that education around voting is pursued, help with new ideas to integrate them or not, improve the timing of vote, coordinate with more TEC members and working groups. 75% became more confusing than it should. The info is clear on steps to move forward. We should focus on what is needed and not so much on the problem. Engage more contributors to the legal ABC, TNC discussion. It takes time and organization to delegate work. Communities need a new leader who can reach as high as Katie left the bar. Join meme parties, I feel they lost momentum. Community call timing. Scope creep. Inclusion versus efficiency, what a hard balance. Ratings and hub issues for tasks that I accomplish, work on. Connect personally with my colleagues. Patch DAO feels so buggy, +2. Is Aragon our best option? Criticism has been delivered without clear proposals for how to improve. We need a professional flamethrower for spam in groups. Personally, read all forum posts. Gravity org dev needs more attention. Katie is going to have to step away. Yes, and get HubSpot working finally. Developing best ways to communicate key pieces of information about proposals, especially. a lot of complex, complicated, and chaotic things. Being okay with loosely coordinating between working groups and giving agency to them. Loved reading the mission statement in our last call. I feel like we should do that more. Durgadas has really convinced me about Synaphin. Advancing in a nascent field is hard. Conflicting approaches toward working group funding and DAO development. Having a better understanding of the amounts that will be proposed to the DAO from the working groups right away. Here I was writing that decision-making process needs some visuals. Change is not easy. Praise is getting long in the community call. Maybe move it down to 45 seconds. The spotlight has a lot of problems. We could remove it or make it an extra 30 minutes after the community call.
Cool. And this time we will do a round, maybe a minute and a half, and share what you think about these. If any speak to you personally, and while you're doing that, anyone wants to help me organize them into groups would be awesome. And I'll pass to Eduardo to get us started.
Thank you. I think the Katie part caught me surprised. I didn't know about it, so that left me a little bit out of guard.
Can I actually just then say something? It may be because a lot of people on the call might not know about it. Katie is just overwhelmed with some things in her personal life right now, and she would like to take some time to herself to figure things out.
Thank you. And then for the rest of the stuff that it's on here, I'm glad to see that I see more of the aim of education around votation process. I feel education, every time there is a relevant vote, it's important for our community. It's our way to engage. It's our way to foster community building also. So I really like that and seeing it here on this. And yeah, I think, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. And I will pass it on to Griff.
Yeah, I mean, man, so many interesting things, like the chaos of a DAO and dealing with the chaos of a DAO. I feel like we can, yeah, I really like the leaning on the mission statement and having this like these guiding lights as being something that can minimize the complex, complicated, chaotic things and how we make decisions and coordinate. I really like this idea of coordinating loosely between groups. So and letting there be a little bit of chaos and leaning into it and it being like just that's the DAO, you know. And then the community call issues I think are really interesting, and the idea that we can change the community call, you know, and figure out how to do better things. Yeah, and the hatch DAO feels buggy, right? Like, oh, it sucks. The XDAI OneHive has not been supporting XDAI as well as they were, you know, right before our launch. So that's really sad. But I think we can power through. And I'll pass it to Mitch.
Yeah, I agree with things that Griff said about using our mission statement as a guiding light so that we can somehow reconvene these divergent paths and kind of go towards our big goals. And another thing was just how we can connect with our colleagues. That was my comment. You know, when we're all just working on work, it kind of things generally seem to have a negative vibe. But when we have those moments to make real connection outside of the context of just constantly working, I think that has a lot of opportunity to increase morale. And so if we could find ways to do that, I think that would be awesome. And I'll give it to Wonka.
Yeah, sometimes like we kill the tiger and we are afraid of its skin. And yeah, I feel sometimes like that, like, okay, I wanted to have gravity, but now gravity and the TEC, it's like growing and getting like more complex and more chaotic and like more complicated, and yeah, it feels like yeah, we need to also find a comfort zone within chaos, and yeah, continue pushing forward. But yeah, a lot of complexity and a lot of things that are not like 100% certain or sure, but just like we go with it thinking that we have the best intentions and that we're doing the things the best way possible. And I will pass it to Nate to go.
Thank you, Wonka. Yeah, I think a lot of obstacles that we have within the TEC are centered kind of around not having clear processes for certain things, like voting and onboarding. That can be, they could be very simple. It's just they just need to be consistent, and I think that we need to find some consistency in those types of processes to really get people understanding how to collaborate and how to talk about these votes. And it took me a long time to find the words about like why I was like kind of frustrated with the 75% vote, and it was just really hard because it just took some time. It just took time to evaluate, and I think that having a process for that evaluation outside of the forum as well is really important. So yeah, those are my only criticisms for this sprint. And I will pass it on to back to you, Tam. I'm not sure who that is.
I'll pass to Olivia.
I think something that frustrated me a little bit this sprint was that there was a lot of criticism without like proactivity attached to them, like complaining about how things are not going well, but then either having a solution but then not stepping into like work on that solution, or I don't know, it felt like a lot of empty-ended criticisms that would be great if we can acknowledge that we're all like with a lot of our on our plates and trying to find solutions for how to solve some of the problems that we're all acknowledging, and organizing like maybe something that someone can take on, even if it's like little things, and then start coordinating. To
Who did you pass to? Who?
Oh, it was me? I can take it. Yeah, I also, yeah, it happens to me a lot also, what Libby was saying, like, it's like, oh man, I do not like multi-sigs, but then it's true, I do not know a solution, right? And yeah, it's frustrating because you don't know the solution, but yeah, I agree with you, we should take that in care, and yeah, I don't know what was the thing, but yeah, I agree that, if when someone talk that something is being bad, it's good to give a solution, otherwise it's useless information. Yeah, I agree. Maybe not useless, but could be harmful. Yeah, I also like the hatch DAO is boogie. It seems like there's a solution. Maybe you use something different than Aragon. I don't know. And yeah, I mean, I think we start to growing, and this thing of productivity is yeah, it's scary, but at the same time it's exciting. Like we have to get our processes good enough, like people is feeling rewarded and are not gamifying on the commons. We need to find this balance, and yeah, I think it's, instead of looking at something bad, we should look at something exciting to create. And I'll pass it to who didn't go? Santi?
Thank you. I think it's just a matter of growth, change, managing a DAO which is starting to become big, not easy, and a lot of different probably points of view. It's not the same. It's not the same from someone who's been here and who's more or less following everything around and understands everything that comes new, knows about a specific group that he's attending or being part of, but doesn't really understand the others. And the buggy thing, it's not the end of the world. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's not the end of the world. You can work it out, finally voted. But for someone who's new, I can understand, maybe frustrating. It may be more frustrating not to really understand what the hell we are voting at 75% if you don't read everything that goes on. So I think we're just suffering the growth, and the growth of a DAO, which is completely more complex than the growth of a regular organization. It's a matter of time that we put little by little all the pieces together. We start setting up some processes. I like a little bit of chaos. I wouldn't like everything organized and defined, but I can understand. I'll pass it to, who else is there? Juanca? No, Juan Carlos went. I don't know who's missing. Craig?
Hey, Craig.
Yeah,
Are
hi,
you-
can you
yeah,
hear me?
cool. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just joined. I'm not even really sure what the conversation is, so I'll just pass. I don't know who is left.
Chewy.
Thank you, Tom. What happened in the whole situation with Katie? And it's actually like not the first time that it happens this week, because also yesterday Ivy and I like talked to David because he was feeling like very overwhelmed, and he was like asking himself like, am I being like productive enough? So like first of all, we calmed them down a little bit, and we told him like, you've been doing like such an awesome job, like the whole David analytics corner, where it's been taking us. I feel that it's a really nice idea, and unfortunately we carry with this like cultural weight of productivity and what it means, and I feel that it's just like a concept that came up for bosses to be able to measure profits and how much like every employee is getting, and we're like not about that. So it makes me feel really happy that Katie made this approach, and that she was honest and said that I need to take some time off. And being like myself being like through that a path like already, I feel really happy that right now I'm going like through a very like energetic like phase, or very like enthusiastic, and I'm super excited about everything that's going on, and I'm glad to be in a position where I can be able to help someone else in the community. So this will always not be like that. Like sometimes some of us are gonna be like more frustrated or like a little bit more sad about what's going on, but some of us might be having a better time or be like more motivated. So this reflection makes me think about how like how good it is to be like in the TEC and be part of this community. And yeah, I would just like encourage everyone. Sorry.
Chewy, I tried to make the timer go something time. Yeah, it's just so that everyone has a chance to, and that we don't run out of time when we're just doing actions.
I think Edu is.
Can I just interrupt one thing, because it's really important to differentiate. I know that David also was feeling overwhelmed more by like what's happening, what like whether he's doing well or not. It's not the same situation with Katie. She has some very heavy things going on in her personal life, and it's more like she just needs to step away from everything and take care of things. Just so I don't want there to be the misimpression that it has something to do with the work at the TEC or the people at the TEC, or like, it's none of that. It's just, we all have times in our lives where things can get really intense. And so it's that. Okay, sorry, you can pass it.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. I'll pass it to Edu.
I already went. So back to you, Tim.
In fact, I think that I just want to maybe say welcome. There's a few new people who joined. Roheg Benitez and Donada. You've joined the Sprint Retrospective. So I just want to say welcome. You can take maybe 2 seconds to introduce yourself, and then we can continue if you like to. Donada, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay.
I can introduce Donata. I met him. He runs a community in New Zealand, and I met him in Denver. And he's very excited about the TC. I don't think he knows what this call is all about, though.
Cool. Well, you're welcome to hang out.
And I'll pass it to Rohig. Rohig Benitez, are you there?
I don't speak English. I am designer for One Hike.
Cool. Welcome.
Welcome.
Okay. All right. So you know what we do now? Take your 2 stars, vote on the one issue, or vote 1 star, 1, Post-it note, 1 star, 1 square, and I'll set a timer for maybe just 2 minutes so that we all have a chance to do that. What do you think we should really be focusing on in terms of solving and bringing in solutions for the next sprint? Oh, I didn't have a chance to go, sorry. I guess I'll just say quickly, there's something about being comfortable in ambiguous situations where you don't know what's happening, and it's sort of like a skill that is important for fast-moving and sort of bleeding-edge things like we're trying to do. I'd say that that's probably like not feeling panicked by the pace or by how many things we don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know yet, and we will slowly get to know all of those things. And sort of that's the feeling I have, is that it feels really intense. There's a lot of really important things that were raised over this last sprint around, are we working on the right things? How is the budget going to work? How much of DAO operations will be the DAO? There's just a lot of important questions. And I think it's so important that we keep asking these questions, and then slowly we find the answers. All right, so you have about 20 seconds. If people are finished, maybe we'll have a look. Cool, so it looks like we have 3 major things. So decision-making process needs visuals. Yeah, I think that could also be very handy. It's a lot of times easier to follow a chart. Community call timing. Yes, and coordinate new user onboarding tasks, which is going to be really important, especially as Katie is going to have to step away for a little while. All right, I'll set a timer for 5 minutes, and we can start on the actions to improve. So we can definitely start with the items that we've surfaced that we want to improve on. And if there's anything else you need to throw in or you feel really compelled to throw in, please do. All right, 5 minutes is starting now. All right, we have a few minutes left. So I'm going to say maybe I'll encourage people to continue filling out Post-it notes while we start reading from the top. So if you have more to fill out, you could post them on the bottom. And Juan Carlos, do you feel up to reading out the actions to improve?
Yes, Tam. Pick one person to give a thoughtful praise in the community call. Invert our community call. Spotlight, update, praise. Let's evolve the community call. Divided form spotlight. Read MVV in the community call every 2 weeks or so. Onboarding in DAO's research. Think about the audience when we're communicating working group updates. What are the top 3 things that need to be communicated? Take the polycentric governance articles and make a visual for each one. Could end up as a Twitter campaign. Make praise be 45 seconds per person, currently 55. Call for help in communities. Give more time to spotlight by getting praise and updates more concise. Realign the TEC's working group to focus on advancing token engineering. Could praise be moved to the TEC lounge? More attendance to the TEC lounge. Community call idea to limit the praise section. Everyone chooses their top 5-10 praises. Get a designer on board to work with Livia on decision-making visuals. Restructure the community call evolution. What about one praise per person? We can praise on the chat the rest, and this praise would feel so special. 25 seconds. Move spotlight into gravity call 15 minutes, then gravity goes to a 45-minute call. Balance the books. Create a document that hold all starters tasks for new members in each working group. Talk more about budgeting and treasury management. Forecast, even a rough one, for the working group funding by the end of the next sprint. Campaign all about the NBV, restructuring working groups into mini projects with a set goal and have people working on them. Good for new contributors too. Make more focus on distribution for big tweets. Make an effort to DM for retweets.
Okay, those are great. We only have 6 minutes left, so maybe we start passing around, but if you don't have something you feel strongly about, pass it, and I'll start with 30 seconds. In the meantime, we'll, 30 seconds each. Sorry, there's a lot of us. And in the meantime, I'll start categorizing. And I'm actually going to pass to Mitch to get us started. And anyone that wants to help bringing these into categories, help. And in about 3 minutes, we'll do our vote.
You just want some quick thoughts?
Yeah, or if there's maybe 1 or 2 that really you feel strong about.
I mean, I have to toot my own horn and say balancing the books seems like a really urgent thing to deal with. And just getting all the working groups aligned again to the mission. I think that's a really urgent thing, and it's going to solve a lot of problems thereof. And I will give it to Chui.
Sorry, can you hear me? It froze for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I see that there's like a lot of concern about like the whole praise in the community call. I feel that it could be like my suggestion would be to maybe consider moving it to the TEC lounge. This way, like it could be like a great opening for praising each other for some stuff that went right, and after that, like, don't talk about work. I feel that just like it makes like a better stew than trying to mixing everything in the community call. And also, since a lot of stuff is gonna start happening in the community call, maybe we could switch for like maybe we could change the whole intro instead of praise, having like welcome for anyone that is new, so that they can introduce individually, and that could give us like 10 minutes instead of half an hour of praise. But yeah, those are just like some ideas. And
Cool.
I'll pass it back to you, Tim.
Yeah, because we have now 3 minutes left. So I tried to group them as best as we could, and call for help for Communitas. I mean, really, it's mostly about the community call, actually. All of these are about the community call. There's a lot about the balancing the books, or forecasting at least the balanced books. So please take a moment now and choose the 2 that you think are the most important to bring into the sprint.
I just want to say that praise in the community call is like so critical for decentralized updates. Like, this is how we get every member to give an update and participate in the call. I don't think our attendance would be nearly as high unless people could actually show up and say, praise who they want to praise. And I wouldn't get the information. I don't think we would get the information we need about what's going on in our different swarms without it either.
Yeah, I would concur with that. It is, I hate, and it's a difficult thing to manage, right? I don't know, we have, like, mathematically, we have more content than we have time for. So I don't know how we figure that out, but the praise is really extraordinary, even though it takes 20, 25 minutes, generally 20. All right, when people stop moving on the board, then we'll know we're done. Does anyone else feel like Santi, I see you're picking up some stars? No? Okay.
I just cannot move them.
Oh no. Okay. All right. So I would say, wow, nothing's really clustering. We have more attendance to the TEC lounge. We have thinking about the audience when we're communicating working group updates. What are the top 3 things that need to be communicated? So really making sure we're focused, I guess, on what we want to convey to the community, and community call evolution. And I would say these are all about balancing the budgets, but there's 3 different stars on 3 different issues. So, okay, probably I think this community call evolution is, I can't see if this one, yeah. So community call evolution is the one we'll bring into the sprint. It doesn't mean we shouldn't do these other amazing things. A lot of them should be done. If you feel inspired to help move it along, open up a ZenHub issue. So balance books, open up a ZenHub issue, and let's all start addressing it together. And the TEC lounge and everything you feel like you want to get some momentum on, the best way to do it is open it an issue. Hey, thanks so much for spending this hour with me. It is 7 o'clock. I hope you enjoy whatever it is you're doing next. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Tam.